Tonight, we're going to wander softly through the long and surprising history of the umbrella, a simple object that has sheltered humanity for thousands of years. Before we begin, a brief note for your safety. Please do not listen to this wander through history while driving or operating machinery. Only listen when you're somewhere you can relax safely and completely. From the moment humans first looked up at the sky and wondered how to protect themselves from its moods, the idea of a portable canopy began to take shape. The earliest umbrellas weren't designed for rain at all. In many ancient cultures, they were symbols of status, crafted to shield rulers from the sun rather than storms. As you settle in, imagine the slow unfolding of this story, a tale that stretches across continents, dynasties, and centuries, all connected by the quiet desire for comfort beneath a protective arch. The umbrella's origins reach back to ancient Egypt, where parasols were fashioned from palm leaves and feathers. These early canopies were held above pharaohs during ceremonies, their shade representing divine protection. In China, artisans began experimenting with bamboo frames and oiled paper, creating the first umbrellas that could withstand rainfall. These innovations travelled along trade routes, carried by merchants and diplomats who recognized their usefulness and elegance. As you drift deeper into this journey, picture the umbrella not as a mundane object, but as a companion to human life, present in rituals, processions, and daily routines. Its shape has remained remarkably consistent, yet its meaning has shifted with each era. From royal symbol to everyday necessity, the umbrella has quietly followed us through history, unfurling whenever the sky darkens or the sun grows too bold. Let your breathing slow as we begin this gentle exploration. The chapters ahead will move through time like a soft procession, each one opening a new layer of the umbrella's story. And with that, we step into the past, letting the canopy of history unfold above us. The earliest umbrellas were not tools of practicality, but emblems of prestige. In ancient Egypt, parasols appeared in ceremonial art long before they appeared in everyday life. Crafted from palm fronds, lotus leaves, or carefully arranged feathers, they were held aloft by attendants who walked beside pharaohs during public rituals. These parasols symbolized divine shade, a protective gesture from the gods themselves. To be sheltered beneath one was to be recognized as chosen, elevated, and sacred. Across the Mediterranean, similar traditions emerged. In Assyria and Persia, parasols were richly decorated, often mounted on long poles and carried behind kings during processions. Their presence communicated authority without a single word spoken. The parasol became a visual shorthand for power, a floating canopy that followed rulers wherever they went. In these cultures, shade was not merely comfort, it was a privilege. Meanwhile, in India, parasols took on spiritual significance. Temples used them to honor deities, placing ornate umbrellas above statues as symbols of reverence. The parasol became part of religious architecture, a marker of sanctity that crowned sacred spaces. Over time, this symbolism extended to royalty, and kings adopted umbrellas as part of their regalia. The connection between shade and status deepened, weaving itself into the fabric of ceremony and belief. As you imagine these ancient scenes, Picture the slow movement of attendants carrying parasols through sunlit courtyards, the air warm, the colours vivid, the canopy casting a soft pool of shadow over the figure beneath it. These early umbrellas were not designed for rain. In many of these regions, rainfall was rare. Instead, they were crafted to tame the sun, to soften its intensity, and to create a small oasis of coolness in a world of heat. The idea of a portable canopy was spreading, but it had not yet become a universal tool. It remained tied to hierarchy, ritual, and symbolism. Still, the seed of practicality was there, waiting for cultures with different climates and needs to reshape it. In the chapters ahead, the umbrella will begin to shift from emblem to instrument, from ceremonial object to everyday companion. For now, let the image of those early parasols linger, delicate, ornate, and carried with reverence, as we move gently forward in time. China holds a special place in the umbrella's history, not only for refining its design, but for transforming it into something recognizably modern. By the time of the Zhou dynasty, artisans had begun crafting umbrellas from bamboo ribs covered with oiled paper. This simple yet brilliant combination created a canopy that could repel rain, marking the first true rainproof umbrella in history. The process was meticulous. Bamboo was split into thin, flexible strips, each one shaped and smoothed by hand. These ribs were then arranged in a radial pattern, forming the skeleton of the umbrella. Paper made from mulberry bark was brushed with oils derived from tung trees, creating a waterproof surface that glistened softly when opened. The result was both functional and beautiful, a lightweight collapsible shelter that could be carried through bustling streets or countryside paths. Umbrellas in China were more than practical tools. They were cultural symbols. Red umbrellas were used in weddings to bless the bride with good fortune. Blue umbrellas appeared in funerary rituals, representing protection on the journey to the afterlife. Scholars carried umbrellas as signs of refinement, and merchants used them to shield goods from sudden showers. The umbrella became woven into daily life, its presence familiar and comforting. One of the most remarkable innovations was the invention of the folding umbrella. Chinese craftsmen developed hinges and sliding mechanisms that allowed the canopy to collapse neatly, making it easier to carry and store. This advancement would later inspire European designs centuries down the line. The folding umbrella was a triumph of engineering, blending practicality with elegance. As you picture these early Chinese umbrellas, imagine the soft patter of rain on oiled paper, the gentle flecks of bamboo ribs, and the quiet satisfaction of a design that met the needs of its people. The umbrella was no longer a symbol reserved for the elite. It was becoming a companion for ordinary life, a small piece of ingenuity that made the world more comfortable. Let that sense of innovation settle around you as we continue drifting through history, following the umbrella's journey across continents. Trade routes have always carried more than goods. They carry ideas, tools, and traditions. As merchants moved along the Silk Road, they brought umbrellas from China into the Middle East and eventually into Europe. These early imports fascinated travellers, who marvelled at their collapsible frames and waterproof canopies. The umbrella was unlike anything seen in the West, where parasols still dominated. In ancient Greece and Rome, Parasols were used primarily by women, often associated with elegance and leisure. They appeared in art, held above figures strolling through gardens or attending festivals. But these parasols were fragile, made from thin materials that offered shade but little durability. When sturdier umbrellas arrived from the East, they sparked curiosity but did not immediately replace local designs. The Middle East embraced umbrellas more readily. In regions where sudden rainstorms could sweep across landscapes, the practicality of a waterproof canopy was undeniable. Craftsmen began experimenting with leather coverings and wooden frames, adapting the umbrella to local materials and needs. These early hybrids were heavier than their Chinese counterparts, but more resilient in harsh climates. Europe's adoption was slower. For centuries, umbrellas were seen as exotic novelties rather than everyday tools. They appeared in royal courts, carried by attendants during ceremonies, echoing the ancient symbolism of shade and status. But the idea of using an umbrella for rain had not yet taken hold. Europeans relied on cloaks, hoods, and wide-brimmed hats to weather storms. Still, the umbrella's presence was growing. Travellers wrote about them in journals, describing their clever mechanisms and surprising usefulness. Artists sketched them in the margins of manuscripts. Slowly, the umbrella was becoming part of Europe's visual vocabulary, waiting for the right moment to step into daily life. As you drift through this chapter, imagine the slow spread of the umbrella across continents, a quiet migration carried by merchants, scholars, and explorers. Its journey was not dramatic, but steady, like a canopy opening inch by inch. And soon, Europe would embrace it fully, transforming the umbrella into a familiar companion. The turning point for the umbrella in Europe came in the 17th and 18th centuries, when rainfall became a more pressing concern in growing cities. Streets were crowded, buildings tall, and weather unpredictable. People needed a portable shelter that could navigate narrow alleys and busy marketplaces. The umbrella, long admired but rarely used, was ready to step into its new role. In France, umbrellas began appearing in public squares, carried by fashionable women who appreciated their elegance. These early European umbrellas were made from whalebone ribs and coated fabric, often silk or oilcloth. They were heavy, but they offered reliable protection from rain. Parisian artisans refined their designs, adding decorative handles and embellishments that made umbrellas both practical and stylish. England's adoption was slower, hindered by social norms. For many years, carrying an umbrella was considered unusual, even eccentric. Rain was simply endured, not avoided. But one man changed everything. Jonas Hanway, a philanthropist and traveller who returned from Persia with a fondness for umbrellas. He began carrying one through the streets of London, despite mockery from passers-by. His persistence sparked curiosity, and soon umbrellas became more common. By the late 18th century, umbrella shops appeared across London. Craftsmen experimented with lighter materials, replacing whalebone with steel ribs and improving waterproof fabrics. Umbrellas became more affordable, shifting from luxury items to everyday necessities. Their presence transformed city life, offering comfort during sudden showers and encouraging people to venture outdoors regardless of weather. As you imagine this period, picture cobblestone streets glistening after rain, pedestrians strolling beneath sturdy canopies, and shop windows displaying umbrellas in neat rows. The umbrella was becoming part of Europe's rhythm, opening and closing like a quiet heartbeat in the flow of daily life. Let that image settle as we continue drifting forward, following the umbrella into the industrial age. The Industrial Revolution reshaped the umbrella more dramatically than any era before it. With new machinery, materials, and manufacturing techniques, umbrellas became lighter, stronger, and more accessible. Factories could produce thousands of frames in a fraction of the time it once took artisans to craft a single one. Steel ribs replaced heavier materials, allowing umbrellas to fold more compactly and withstand stronger winds. Waterproof fabrics improved as textile mills experimented with cotton blends and chemical coatings. Handles were carved from wood, moulded from early plastics, or wrapped in leather, offering comfort and durability. The umbrella was evolving rapidly, adapting to the needs of a growing urban population. Mass production also changed the umbrella's cultural meaning. No longer a symbol of status, it became a practical tool for everyone: workers, students, travellers, and families. Umbrellas appeared in railway stations, parks, and bustling streets, their canopies forming a patchwork of colours during rainy days. They became part of the visual identity of industrial cities, as familiar as chimneys and lampposts. Advertising played a role too. Posters depicted umbrellas as essential accessories, highlighting their convenience and reliability. Some companies offered umbrellas with repair guarantees, encouraging customers to view them as long-term companions rather than disposable items. The umbrella was becoming a staple of modern life, woven into routines and expectations. As you drift through this chapter, imagine the hum of factories producing umbrella frames, the scent of freshly coated fabric, and the quiet satisfaction of a tool designed to make daily life more comfortable. The umbrella had travelled far from its ceremonial origins, becoming a practical shelter for millions. Let that sense of transformation guide you gently into the next chapter, where the umbrella's design becomes even more refined. The 20th century brought a new wave of innovation, the pocket umbrella. As cities grew busier and transportation became more crowded, people needed umbrellas that were easy to carry and quick to deploy. Engineers and designers responded with collapsible models that folded into compact shapes, small enough to fit into handbags, briefcases, or coat pockets. One of the most influential designs came from Hans Haupt, a German inventor who created a telescoping umbrella in the 1920s. His design used sliding metal tubes that allowed the shaft to collapse neatly, reducing the umbrella's length without compromising its strength. This invention paved the way for modern compact umbrellas, which soon became popular across Europe and America. Manufacturers experimented with new materials, including aluminium and early plastics, to make umbrellas lighter and more durable. Nylon became the fabric of choice, offering excellent water resistance and quick drying. Springs and locking mechanisms improved, allowing umbrellas to open smoothly with a single motion. The pocket umbrella became a symbol of convenience, a small tool that offered big comfort. As you picture this era, imagine commuters stepping off trams and buses, unfolding compact umbrellas as raindrops begin to fall. The motion becomes part of the rhythm of city life, a quick flick of the wrist, a soft bloom of fabric, and a moment of shelter. The umbrella is no longer just a tool, it is a companion that adapts to the pace of modern living. Let that sense of practicality and ingenuity settle around you as we continue drifting through time, exploring how the umbrella became a global staple. Umbrellas have taken on unique forms and meanings in cultures across the globe. In Japan, traditional wagasa umbrellas are crafted from bamboo and washi paper, often used in tea ceremonies, theatre performances, and festivals. Their elegant designs and earthy colours evoke a sense of harmony with nature. Wagasa are not merely tools, they are expressions of craftsmanship and cultural identity. In Thailand and Myanmar, brightly coloured parasols are made in village workshops, where artisans paint intricate patterns onto oiled paper. These umbrellas are used in celebrations, markets, and religious rituals, adding splashes of colour to daily life. Their presence reflects a deep appreciation for artistry and tradition. In Ethiopia, ceremonial umbrellas appear in Orthodox Christian processions, carried by priests during religious festivals. These umbrellas are richly decorated with embroidery and vibrant fabrics, symbolizing honor and protection. Their canopies shimmer in the sunlight, creating a sense of reverence and celebration. Across Africa, Asia, and South America, umbrellas continue to serve both practical and symbolic roles. They appear in weddings, funerals, dances, and parades, each culture shaping the umbrella to reflect its values and aesthetics. The umbrella's versatility makes it a universal object, capable of adapting to countless traditions. As you drift through this chapter, imagine the diversity of umbrellas around the world, each one a reflection of local materials, beliefs, and artistry. The umbrella is not just a shelter, it is a canvas for cultural expression, a quiet companion that carries stories across generations. Let that sense of global connection guide you gently into the next chapter, where the umbrella enters the modern era. The modern umbrella is a marvel of engineering, shaped by advances in material science and design. Carbon fibre ribs offer strength without weight, allowing umbrellas to withstand strong winds without bending. High-density fabrics repel water efficiently, drying quickly and resisting wear. Automatic mechanisms allow umbrellas to open and close with a single press, making them effortless to use. Designers have also embraced creativity, experimenting with shapes, colours, and features. Some umbrellas have transparent canopies, offering visibility during storms. Others have vented designs that reduce wind resistance, preventing the canopy from flipping inside out. There are umbrellas with UV protection, reflective trims for safety, and ergonomic handles that fit comfortably in the hand. Sustainability has become a priority too. Companies are developing umbrellas made from recycled materials, biodegradable components, and repairable parts. The goal is to create umbrellas that last longer and reduce waste, reflecting a growing awareness of environmental responsibility. As you imagine these modern designs, picture the quiet satisfaction of an umbrella that opens smoothly, shelters reliably, and folds neatly when the rain stops. The umbrella has become a refined tool, shaped by centuries of innovation and human ingenuity. Let that sense of modern comfort settle around you as we continue drifting forward, exploring the umbrella's place in art and imagination. Umbrellas have long appeared in art, literature, and film, often symbolizing protection, mystery, or whimsy. Painters have depicted umbrellas in rainy street scenes, capturing the soft glow of lamplight reflected on wet pavements. Writers have used umbrellas as metaphors for shelter, companionship, or unexpected encounters. In cinema, umbrellas often appear in memorable moments: a character walking through rain, a shared canopy bringing two people closer, or a brightly coloured umbrella standing out against a grey sky. In Japanese ukiyo-e prints, umbrellas appear in scenes of daily life, carried by travellers along misty roads, or by couples strolling through gardens. These images capture the quiet beauty of ordinary moments, with the umbrella serving as a gentle accent in the composition. In European art, umbrellas often appear in Impressionist paintings, their canopies adding texture and movement to bustling cityscapes. Artists like Gustave Caillebotte and Pierre-Auguste Renoir used umbrellas to convey atmosphere, rhythm, and emotion. Umbrellas also appear in folklore and children's stories, sometimes imbued with magical qualities. They become tools for flight, portals to adventure, or symbols of transformation. Their simple shape lends itself to imagination, inviting storytellers to explore new possibilities. As you drift through this chapter, imagine the umbrella not just as an object, but as a character, present in quiet scenes, dramatic moments, and whimsical tales. Its presence adds softness, colour, and meaning to the stories we tell. Let that sense of creativity guide you gently into the next chapter, where the umbrella becomes part of daily life once more. Today, the umbrella is such a familiar presence that it almost disappears into the background of daily routines. Yet each time someone reaches for one, they're participating in a tradition that stretches back through millennia of human ingenuity. The umbrella sits quietly by front doors, rests in hallway stands, and tucks into bags, waiting for the moment when the sky shifts and a little shelter is needed. Think of the small rituals that surround it: the glance upward at gathering clouds, the gentle shake before stepping indoors, the way people instinctively angle their umbrellas to avoid brushing against others on a crowded pavement. These gestures are subtle, almost unconscious, but they reveal how deeply the umbrella has woven itself into the rhythm of modern life. It is a companion that asks for nothing, yet offers comfort whenever the weather turns. Umbrellas accompany us through countless moments, hurrying to catch a bus, strolling through a quiet park, or pausing beneath a canopy while waiting for a friend. They create small pockets of calm, softening the world with the muted patter of rain on fabric. That sound, steady and soothing, has become part of the sensory memory of rainy days. Beneath an umbrella, the world feels slightly smaller, slightly gentler, as though the canopy draws a protective circle around whoever carries it. In workplaces, umbrellas lean against desks or hang from coat racks, reminders of unpredictable weather. In schools, children carry brightly coloured versions, turning rainy mornings into cheerful parades of patterns and shapes. In cities, umbrellas bloom like flowers during sudden showers, transforming streets into moving mosaics of colour. Even in rural areas, a single umbrella can feel like a quiet companion on a long walk across open fields. The umbrella's simplicity is part of its charm. It has no complex technology, no elaborate mechanism beyond a few ribs and a stretch of fabric. Yet it remains indispensable, a testament to the enduring power of straightforward design. Its purpose has not changed, even as the world around it has transformed in countless ways. As you settle into the closing moments of this chapter, imagine the gentle act of opening an umbrella, the soft click, the unfolding canopy, the small shelter it creates. A familiar gesture, repeated across generations, linking past and present with quiet continuity. And with that sense of everyday comfort, we drift toward the final part of our journey. As we reach the end of this wander through the history of the umbrella, it becomes clear that this simple object carries a story far richer than its modest appearance suggests. The umbrella is a symbol of human adaptability, a reminder that even the smallest tools can reflect centuries of creativity, craftsmanship, and cultural exchange. Its journey from ceremonial parasol to everyday companion mirrors our own evolution, shaped by changing climates, shifting societies, and the timeless desire for comfort. The umbrella's endurance is remarkable. Few objects have remained so consistent in purpose while evolving so gracefully in form. Its basic shape, a canopy supported by ribs, has persisted across dynasties, continents, and technological revolutions. Yet each era has added its own refinements, from bamboo frames and oiled paper to carbon fiber and automatic mechanisms. The umbrella is both ancient and modern, familiar yet quietly extraordinary. It also carries emotional resonance. Umbrellas appear in memories of childhood walks, romantic moments shared under a single canopy, and quiet evenings spent listening to rain. They accompany us through seasons of life, offering shelter during unexpected storms, and becoming part of the backdrop of countless experiences. In this way, the umbrella is more than a tool. It is a gentle presence woven into the fabric of human stories. As you reflect on its long history, imagine the umbrella as a thread connecting distant cultures and generations. Picture artisans shaping bamboo ribs in ancient China, craftsmen in Europe refining steel frames, and modern designers experimenting with sustainable materials. Each contribution adds a new layer to the umbrella's legacy, creating an object that is both practical and poetic. The umbrella's quiet reliability invites appreciation. It doesn't demand attention, yet it stands ready whenever needed. It offers a moment of calm in the midst of rain, a small sanctuary that moves with us through the world. And perhaps that is why its story feels so comforting. It reminds us that even simple things can hold deep meaning. As this final chapter settles, imagine an umbrella gently closing, a soft fold of fabric, a quiet return to rest, and a symbol of how human ingenuity can shape even the humblest of objects into something enduring. A peaceful ending to a long journey through time. Thank you so much for sharing this quiet moment with me. If you'd like more bedtime stories like this, then please subscribe now. And if there's a topic you'd love to hear as you drift off, let me know in the comments. Sleep well and be safe.